He stepped down from ESPN while that was going on because he thought that he was coming back at the beginning of the preseason for NFL. Well, NFL preseason is beginning to start next week, or I think this week, and they just fired him. Damn.
Shannon Sharpe's 2023 exit from Fox Sports felt like a clean break, no public drama, no messy headlines. He quietly stepped away from the show he co-hosted with Skip Bayless and, not long after, resurfaced on ESPN's First Take, making his debut in August that year. His early appearances made plenty of noise, but the real spark was still to come. By January 2024, Sharpe was everywhere thanks to his now legendary interview with Cat Williams. Fans and critics alike hailed it as one of the greatest podcast moments ever recorded. From there, his momentum skyrocketed. ESPN was paying him handsomely. His late-night show Nightcap with Chad Ochocinco Johnson was pulling big numbers. Endorsement deals stacked up, and he even rolled out his own liquor brand. Everything he touched seemed to print money, possibly more than he'd earned in his entire NFL career. But when you're winning that big, it's easy to think you can't lose. Enter Gabriela Zuniga, 20-year-old gym employee Sharpe met during a visit. Publicly, it's no secret, Shannon has a preference for white women. Despite the glaring age gap, Sharpe in his late 50s, Zuniga barely out of her teens, the connection moved fast and physical. But the fling didn't end quietly, it ended in court. Sharpe initially waved it off, convinced it would fizzle. But Zuniga had backup a heavyweight attorney, Tony Busby, known for going after high-profile black men in legal battles. Busby had famously tangled with Deshaun Watson and even clashed with J-Z. This time. His target was Shannon Sharpe. He came loaded. Reports claimed Zuniga had stacks of messages, voicemails, and intimate details that could blow up Sharpe's career. Worse still, this wasn't Sharpe's first brush with controversy. Old accusations from women had trailed him across networks, so the territory was familiar but far from safe. Instead of settling early, Sharpe stood his ground. Then came the sledgehammer, a $50 million lawsuit, and just like that, the game changed.
Called black women gold diggers. He told his own children, that he should be the last option that they are able to call whenever they need help. He didn't even want to pay for his own, I believe it was his daughter's wedding. He was a willing participant. He was a willing participant in every single thing that he did, and I don't feel sorry for him. The universe sent him signs.
Then Sharpe made a curious play. He dropped Jay-Z's name into the mix. Too many, it felt less like insight and more like a distraction. Let's be honest, Hove wasn't in the room when those choices went down. Those moves, that was all Shannon.
Do you see how when you go to these white tea women and claim that black women ain't this and black women ain't that, we got too much mouth, we got too much attitude, we all gold diggers like Mr. Shannon Sharpe said? Do you see the outcome? White tea women know how to play the game. They know that you all are desirable. You all are the forbidden fruit. They're gonna milk that. They're gonna milk you till it's dry.
At first, Shannon Sharpe was certain the scales would tip his way. But instead of the smooth victory he imagined, the current swung hard against him. Believing he was making the smart move, Shannon quietly stepped away from ESP, unhandle the mess. Off camera, shield the network from the heat, and return once things cooled down. On paper, it sounded strategic. Clean up the personal storm in private, then slide back into the spotlight like nothing happened. But then came the curveball. Sharpe suddenly agreed to settle. The number never hit the official record, but the whispers were loud. Some claimed the payout landed around a jaw-dropping $23 million. And naturally, the moment didn't pass without commentary, especially from black women, who had a few things to get off their chest. If Shannon Sharpe really cut a check north of $20 million, that's wild, especially when you remember he never saw that kind of money in his NFL days. Dropping that kind of bag on a 20-year-old woman who then walks away from OnlyFans and basically retires will make anyone raise an eyebrow. Still, Shannon was thinking long game. His mindset? This is a loss, not a knockout. Pay it, move on, and make it back. And with his portfolio, it didn't sound crazy. Club. Shay Shay was on fire. With over 4 million subscribers, views, and sponsors alone could refill the bank. Nightcap with Chad Johnson was pulling solid numbers. Add in his liquor brand, and Shannon figured he'd bounce right back. Plus, with the NFL season about to kick off, it was the perfect moment for a grand return to ESPN. From his seat, this was just a speed bump. Then came the curveball. ESPN cut him loose. The official reason? Still fuzzy. Publicly, it was framed as a mutual partying or a quiet exit. But reality check, Shannon Sharpe was fired. And sure, some people said he doesn't need ESPN, he's got his own platforms. But that's oversimplifying it. ESPN wasn't just a paycheck, it was a rocket booster. First take with Stephen A. Smith didn't just put him in front of sports fans. It made him visible to people who didn't even care about sports. ESPN kept him top of mind, which funneled traffic straight to his YouTube channel. That level of exposure, you can't buy it. That plus ESPN's social media army constantly tagged him, clipped him, and even reposted nightcap segments. That was free marketing. From the biggest sports media brand in the world, and the credibility boost. Priceless. Being linked to ESPN and, by extension, Disney put a trusted and polished stamp on his brand that opened doors to big money endorsements and mainstream deals. But that stamp comes with fine print. Disney runs a squeaky clean ship. Just ask Paul Pierce. Back in 2021, he went live on Instagram surrounded by strippers, booze, and smoke. Nothing illegal but the optics. Messy, he was gone the next day. Why? Because Disney contracts have morality clauses and they don't mess around. For Shannon, the settlement was the red flag. Guilty or not, the optics were ugly. To Disney, that's enough to cut the cord. That's the real issue. It's not the scandal itself, but what it signals to a corporation obsessed with image control. They don't want the baggage, and they sure don't want to defend it. And here's the bigger picture. No matter how strong your personal brand is, going solo doesn't automatically replace the infrastructure that built you. Once the machine stops feeding you exposure, resources, and credibility, the climb back is brutal. Just ask Paul Pierce, now podcasting independently instead of headlining on national TV. Now, Shannon's in the same waters. He's still gifted, still loved by fans, still capable of big moves, but without ESPN's spotlight, the shine fades. Brand deals slow down, access shrinks. And the network that once had his back has stepped away. And that, more than the settlement check, is the real price. The takeaway: no matter how high you're flying, one bad choice or one night where you clap the wrong cheek scan, send it all crashing down. Sorry, Shannon. This one's on you.